Hey everyone, I've got a Whirlpool oven that is not reaching temperature, so I'm going to go through the full troubleshooting process, fixing it, showing you how to check everything, how to check error codes, how to test individual components. We're going to pull this out of the cabinets. Start to finish, I'm going to show you how to fix it. Tools you're going to need for this, I've got a powered screwdriver with a clutch on it because there's a lot of sheet metal screws. You don't want to strip things out. You can also do this with just a regular Phillips head screwdriver. I've also got a nut driver attachment. This is a 1/4 inch hex. I've got gloves because you're going to be handling sharp sheet metal pieces. You need a multimeter to test your components. And then I already know I'm going to be replacing the main board on this, so I've got a static wrist strap as well. So the only things you really need for this are a multimeter and a screwdriver. Since I know I'm going to be pulling this out of the wall, I've also laid out a moving blanket underneath this so I don't scratch up my hardwood floors. So the symptoms my oven is having is we put some bread in to bake, it burned the tops, left the bottom raw, and ever since then it will not get up to temperature. We put it at 350, it gets to about 220. We put it to 400, it gets to maybe 250, and then we put it up at like 500 and it gets to like 300. So there's something wrong with either the temperature sensor, the bake elements, or the broil elements, or the main board. Those are the main components that we're going to be testing and seeing which one of those is bad. To start off with, let's look at error codes first. Hit home, favorites, light, home, favorites, light, home, favorites, light. On the third time, it pops up asking, are you sure you want to enter service mode? You want to hit enter. And then you've got your diagnostic codes right here. You can just hit your diagnostics and you can see my oven has an F6E4 UI to control state status mode error. So we can look that up in the service mode and look through the troubleshooting procedure that they give for this error code. So once we have the error code, we can use the service manual for this oven to figure out how to troubleshoot that particular error code. And you'll have an idea of what you're dealing with. So in my case, this F6E4 code, we can look up the service manual by Googling the model number of the oven and then service manual, and it's right on Whirlpool's website. All right, so before we do anything else, we're going to go and pull the breaker for the oven and make sure it's off and there's no live electricity going to the oven. All right, so you find your main electrical panel, open it up, and my breaker for the range is right here. Just gonna flip that to off, and we're gonna go verify everything turned off upstairs. Now that we can see the oven is off, it's time to take off the main door. To do that, open it all the way. And you'll see these latches right here. You can flip these up and all the way out. There's one on each hinge. Do that. Now lift the door up until it stops. And then just keep gently lifting until it's about 45 degrees. And when it stops again, then gently pull it out. There we go. Put this flat on something soft like carpet. You'll also probably want to take your oven racks out. Next, since this is a built-in oven, we got to remove some trim pieces. We've got 2 wood screws holding everything in right here. So we'll go ahead and remove both of those. And one more tool I forgot to mention, it's really nice to have a magnetic tray for all these fasteners because there's going to be a lot of them. All right, take those off. And now you see these screws right here. You can use either a Phillips head or a 1/4 inch nut driver. I'm going to use a 1/4 inch nut driver. And we're going to take these trim pieces off too. All right, so that front just comes right off. Make sure you keep those fasteners. And then these, you can wiggle out either side. So keep all these. Put them somewhere safe. You're going to need to install them when we're all done. All right, now the oven itself is not fastened down anymore. We should be able to remove it from the cabinets. Now when you're grabbing this, do not grab it by the control panel, grab it by the inside of the oven. It helps to have someone helping you, but you can manage it by yourself. All right, get it to the very edge, and then you can just kind of lift and wiggle it off the rest of the way. And we're out. Now you're gonna have to turn it so you can get to the back because there's some components back here we have to test. All right, to test your thermistor and heating elements, you need to take off this back panel. There's a whole bunch of sheet metal fasteners that you're gonna have to remove. And while I'm doing this, I'm gonna keep track of all those fasteners. All right, now that we got all the screws removed, we can just pull this back panel off and set it aside. All right, things we're gonna check on the back of this oven. We've got the top broil element. We're gonna pull these connectors off. You need to disconnect it when you check resistance because other things on the circuit that it's connected to can affect the reading. We've got the temperature sensor right here. We're gonna check this. And then down at the bottom, we've got the bottom heating element. We're going to check this resistance as well. You can expect for this top thermistor, it's probably going to be around 1100 ohms if it's a good reading. Just unhook that and set these in. I've got it set to the 2000 ohm setting because I'm expecting it to be around 1100 ohms. And look at that, 1091. That is a good reading for this temperature sensor at room temperature. It will change if the temperature sensor is hotter or colder. So it's not the temperature sensor. We'll close that back up. If it was, there's two screws on the inside of the oven that you need to kind of shimmy the heating element out of the way. So you disconnect these, undo those screws, and then it's one screw that holds the thermistor in. Really easy to swap out. All right, next we're going to check the heating element on the top here. So we're just going to take these connectors and we're going to pull them off, straight off the back. And then we're going to get up underneath there and connect our multimeter to these two leads. And if you don't have an auto ranging multimeter, go ahead and set it down to the 200 ohm setting because these are probably going to be around between 15 and 20 ohms. Sure enough, we get 16.2, 16.1. That's a good reading for the top broil element. So it's not that. We need to hook these two leads back up and we'll move on to the bottom. Once again, disconnect it from the circuit before taking any readings. Move the wires out of the way, and we'll go ahead and check this element as well. 19.6, that is a good reading for a bottom heating element. So we've checked our temperature sensor, we checked both our heating elements. It's neither of those. We had an error code that said it's probably the control anyway. So I've got the expensive repair. Otherwise, if one of these is bad or an open circuit, you've got a relatively inexpensive repair here. So since it's not this heating element, we're gonna hook it back up and we're gonna close up this panel. All right, now that I've double checked all my connections on the back, I'm gonna close this back up, put the panel in place, and screw it together. So it wasn't anything in the back for me. Now it's main control board, and that's this cover right here. So once again, take all the screws off of that panel. And once you've got it free, lift up and out. All right, so here's the main control board. I'm going to be replacing it before you unwrap your new board. This is where I'm going to put on my static wrist strap to make sure I don't destroy the new board when I'm putting it in. So I'm going to stay grounded to the frame of the oven. And I've already verified the oven power is off because here are a bunch of high power relays that you don't want to mess with if you're, not sure that the oven power is off. And at this point, I would recommend before you disconnect anything, take a photo of your layout so you've got a reference you can come back to later and figure out where everything is supposed to plug into. All right, now that I've got the wiring harness disconnected, we've got two screws here, and it levers in underneath these two bosses, or two stamped parts. So once more with the screwdriver, I'm going to do this manually because I don't want any electric tools next to this thing. All right, there's the old board. I'm going to take it out, put the new board in. Slide this in and line up those holes, and then screw it down. Then we'll connect the wiring harness. Now we've just got to connect these same parts back on. Make sure you get these in the right spots for which side was which. If you need to, go reference your photo for plugging all of these in because you don't want to get them mixed up. We'll go ahead and take our static wrist strap back off and close this up. When you're putting this cover on, make sure you don't pinch any of the wires in it. Got our side trim pieces to put on first. Remember, these are our wood screws. You should see the hole in the cabinet lined up there. If you did everything right, these should be your last two screws. If they aren't, you need to go find where you missed something. Now it's time to put the oven door back on. The key to this is being gentle with it and putting it back in at the same angle you had it to start with. Get those lined up. Do not force this. I've seen people break their glass doors. There we go. You hear it click into place on both of those. And latch these both closed. And we are ready to power this back on. Go turn the breaker back on. All right, if you did everything right, you should have a power loss notification. We're going to skip this for now. That's just setting the correct time. So now we're going to go ahead and turn this on, and we're going to tell it to preheat to 350. And I'm going to get an oven thermometer and double check that that's what it's actually doing. All right, so we're all done. Oven seems to be preheating fine. I'm going to cook some stuff and check that it's right, but that's the whole process from start to finish. Hopefully it was helpful. Right at 350. Right at 350 after I open the door. If you need any of the tools that I used, I'll go ahead and put links in the video description so you can check those out. I'll also put a link to the replacement board I used as well.